Guys, welcome back to another video. As you guys can tell, the WRX looks just a little bit different compared to last video. We actually just got rid of the consoles that we had on the Subi for quite a while now, and we are now rocking with this temporary setup that we have on the WRX. I know some of you guys may think that these look like TE37s, but they're not, and they're not reps either. These are actually the 350Z Track Edition stock wheels. So they're OEM wheels made by Rays that came stock on the 350Zs from the early generation with the Track Edition, and they look almost exactly like the TE37s. They got the Rays engineering up there and then the forged emblem as well right down there. So they look very similar to like the Gramlight 57 DRs and the TE37s. And obviously it's because they're made by the same manufacturer or the same company. Original from factory, these came kind of like in aluminum. Person that owned these before me got them triple chrome. So now we have them onto the WRX. Funny because I really wasn't trying to pick these wheels up at all. I went to go drop off my wheels to the seller up in Oceanside. And then I figured while I'm up there, I might as well pick up some wheels because my car was sitting on jack stands before I left the house because I didn't put any wheels on it when I sold the wheels. So I saw these wheels on Facebook Marketplace and I knew I couldn't pass them up for the price. So I went ahead and we went to go pick them up in San Jacinto and we went to go throw them onto the WRX. Now that being said, the side profile, obviously it looks really good, especially with the bags. But when we start to come at an angle, as you guys can see, this is not up to Gin spec. Now when the car is on ride height, it is perfectly flush, but obviously when we air it out, the wheels start to sink in because it pulls in the control arm, and airing it out just makes it sink inside the car's wheel well. Now let's just go clear this up in the air right now. Yes, I know this car is all-wheel drive, and yes, this is actually a staggered set. It's 18x8 plus 30 and then 18x8.5 plus 33. A lot of you meatheads know that you're not supposed to run staggered setups on all-wheel drive cars. It's gonna stress out the all-wheel drive system and it's just gonna overall confuse the traction control. Since there's 225s up front and then 255s in the rear, the traction control system is going to assume that it's slipping up front because it's not getting that much traction compared to the rear. While we are on this setup, I'm actually driving the car with traction control off. I don't know if that does it any justice, but I know it definitely helps a little bit more considering the fact that the traction control system is going to be a little bit less confused with trying to correct the front for slippage. That being said, with the wheels super weak offset, with not being able to do lip to fender, let's check it out over here in the rear. Yeah, that is sinking in way too inside of the wheel well. There's really only one solution to this case, and a lot of you guys probably already know what they are, but it is wheel spacers. Now, a lot of you people know the big controversy with the wheel spacers for years now. If you guys have been in the car community, you guys might have heard people say that wheel spacers aren't safe, or they might say just buy wheels that are in your spec. But buying wheels in your specific spec isn't exactly the case. For example, these stock wheels that I came across don't fit my wheels properly, or the OEM wheels that came with my Subaru, they don't fit my car properly at all, so we use spacers for those as well. And when it comes to wheel spacers, there are a few variations to them. There are wheel adapters, which is what we have in here. We have a 20mm up front. These come with studs on the actual spacer and then an extra set of holes in the same bolt pattern to put it through the actual studs of the car. Those ones, you can torque them down to spec and then put your wheel over the spacer adapter, and it will basically just work as a wheel over a wheel because you just mounted the spacer adapters onto the wheel hub. Next, we have the actual wheel spacers that are basically just like a plate or like a washer that slips into the studs and basically just sits as a very small spacer. Now these ones don't have any extra studs to them. They're not adapters. They're literally just like washers that slip into the studs and help your wheel stick out by that much. A lot of people who generally go over 10mm don't usually use wheel spacer plates like that. They usually aim for going for adapters if you're going for 15mm or higher. And in that case, if you guys are getting the small wheel spacers, the one without the adapters, you have a high chance of not being able to fit them because your wheel studs could only go so long. Now you guys know that I'm a huge sucker for fitted wheels, and though I do like the meaty wheels, the meaty tires, this is just not acceptable. So there's just way too much meat on these tires. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make weak spec wheels fit your guys' car perfectly, how to make it flush, lip to fender, whatever kind of fitment that you guys want. And I'm going to be showing you guys why this might be a good idea to pull through with your weak spec wheels. So we just got back from the shop. We just mounted on the new Lionheart tires. These are 215/35s all around, even though this is a staggered set. So two of these wheels, the rear set is a little bit more stretched compared to the front. Obviously not a drastic stretch like what we had on the Kansei, since these wheels aren't that wide. These 225/40s and the 255/35s are available for sale if you guys want to come grab them for dirt cheap. Take them off of my hands, please. So as you guys can see, we have a 20mm spacer adapter with a 5mm plate up front. So this is the definition of a spacer plate without the adapter. There's no studs on it. It literally just slips right onto the studs of the wheel. But we're doing a double stack. So we have the adapter spacer, which is a 5x114 to 5x114. Usually you can get other adapter spacers for a conversion for a 5x114. And then if you have 5x100 wheels, these studs would be into a 5x100 bolt pattern. But right now we have the 114 to 114 with a 5mm plate. So all in all, this is 25mm total. Now, today we picked up some 30mm 5x114 spacer in the Subaru spec, which is a 56.1 hub bore and 5x114 13 with 12 by, what the heck, 12 by 1.25 thread pitch. Now these ones are 30mm 12 by 1.25 with a 56.1 hub bore. This is basically Subaru spec. You can put it on any other car as long as the wheel of your car is a wider bore. This one's smaller so it'll fit, but usually you can get things that are like perfect spec for your car. When it comes to mounting these adapter spacers onto your car, there are two things that you're most definitely gonna have to know. So you're gonna want to torque it down the first time. Obviously, I always torque down my spacers usually about to 100 foot-pounds, just a little bit more than usual. And then you're gonna have a second time where it's gonna be after a few miles after you've driven the car, where there's actually weight onto the spacers. You're gonna re-torque them to the same spec, and basically just because you can't really torque the spacers while it's under load because the wheel covers it, so you're gonna have to torque it twice. So there's our 30mm spacer properly torqued down to 100 foot-pounds. You can go lighter honestly, but I have more confidence knowing that I did 100 foot-pounds. And then we're gonna be adding the 5mm spacer plate on top of the adapter, just like so. Next we're gonna do the rear, where we added a 20mm adapter with no extra spacers, so we're just doing a single spacer on this one, and we're gonna be torquing this one to 100 foot-pounds as well. Back when I actually had my Celica, I actually put a 50mm spacer in the rear. That's nearly like 2 inches. At the time, it didn't really like run through my mind of how big that spacer was, just because I was brand new to cars. But going back and thinking about it now, I had that on my car for probably like 10 months. And there were never issues with them at all. That's a really, really big spacer, guys. I still have it. It's right there. I have this thing on the rear of my Celica. That's freaking 2 inches, guys, and that was on the rear of my car. Honestly, that was really, really massive. I'm already like tripping about putting a 30mm spacer onto the front. So yeah, when it comes to buying spacers, I definitely recommend that you guys go with a little bit more of a trustworthy brand, probably the more expensive route, because spacers could be a little bit more pricey. You could go with PBM, which is a little bit more popular, you know, the little gold ones that a lot of people run on their car. They do like triple stacks, quadruple stack over the spacer adapters. But one thing that I'm gonna say, if you guys are on a budget, you guys are thinking about buying eBay spacers or Amazon spacers, these are one of the spacers that I used to run on my WRX. This is a 25mm, and I use this one for a good 10,000 miles for my stock wheels. And then though these are cheap spacers, these were probably like 30-40 bucks. Never had a problem with them at all. They've never cracked. They've never shown any signs of weakness. They never compromised the integrity of my vehicle or jeopardized my safety. But I definitely recommend that you guys check out the reviews before you guys go ahead and buy cheap spacers like this. I know a lot of people like going for more expensive spacers just so that they're on a little bit more on the safe side, because spacers by themselves are already like sketchy as is. The spacers that we're actually running on the car right now, these are actually eBay spacers. Obviously, if it comes to tracking your car and you guys want something a little bit more well-known or something a little bit with a better structure that they were built in, probably go for something a little bit more branded like PBM. But if you guys are just doing for show or for daily driving, or you're not exactly like beating your car around the bush every single corner that you see, there's also no problem with going with the eBay Amazon spacers as well. I'm actually ripped this thing around the canyon with a 25mm spacer on all 4 of my stock wheels, and I had my stock wheels on for a fat second. I've never had a problem with those spacers at all. So at the end of the day, it's just about the spacer quality that you have, probably the spacer brand that you get, but it's also about how you set up your wheel spacers, whether you have adapters or you have the plate, how well you torque them down, and the stud quality and the overall spacer plate quality as well. Next things next, we actually also picked up a new front lip. This is supposed to be a polyurethane one. This is based in R. They make like replicated kits, and I bought this one because it's one of the only polyurethane CS style lips on the market right now. As you guys know, we have the Hydro Dip CS style carbon one on the front bumper of the WRX, but it is absolutely destroyed on the bottom side. I thought that it might finally be a good time to switch out the front lip with a polyurethane one, something that is more indestructible, because every single time that I drive with this front lip on, I'm literally like curling in my toes. Like, it's the worst thing ever. Especially now that we have a smaller tire profile on the car, we're gonna be a little bit lower now, so it means we're gonna be scraping way more than usual, which is gonna suck, but anything in the name of fit minimum, right? This is my first time getting a base in R, like anything base in R, to be honest. I've been using Extreme Online Store for the past like 5-6 lips that I've owned. This is like lip number 7, I believe. Cheers to new beginnings, I guess, guys. Oh yeah, this is definitely poly, squishy. Nice. I always get my lips from Extreme Online Store, but they just haven't brought back the polyurethane lip that I used to once have. The only reason that it broke was because it unbolted while I was on the freeway, so the whole thing burnt. It didn't even snap, it just burnt a big hole because it was like dragging through the freeway because I accidentally hit something. So that kind of sucks how EOS never brought back that lip, because after that, I've just been going through like fiberglass or like ABS front lips for the whole entire time, which absolutely sucks. But hey, look at it. We have a polyurethane lip, guys. Look at it. Twisty twist. So if you guys are contemplating on whether to buy the Extreme Online Store front lip or the Basin R front lip that you can basically almost get anywhere, this is kind of the comparison. Obviously there's going to be a big concave difference here and then a little bit smaller when it comes to the Basin R. It's a little bit more flat, but I know a lot of people like that better because it gives that splitter look. This one just kind of gives that kit low type of look. Obviously this is more of my style, but I am open to trying new things since I've been stuck on trying the CS style EOS front lips for like the longest time. I think it's been like 2 years now. All the lips that I bought in the past all were EOS except for the first one that I got, which was from Amazon, the 3-piece lips. Oh, butters.
You thinking it's funny? I'm feeling smoke, better than ever. I'm doing me, I've been getting my shit together. I'm stepping out and I'm showing nothing but pressure. Lil' mama see her, go show me if she ain't better. Show us the move, show what the vibes is. We in a function and turning up every clock.
So I actually started just trying to get into welding the other day. I bought one of the welding machines. It was a FlexCore, Easy FlexCore 125 titanium that I got from Harbor Freight. And I decided to make my own front brace for the WRX. Now generally you can buy these online from a bunch of different brands for the car, but they cost around like $300. And I was literally about to press checkout for one of them. And I thought that it might just be a cool idea if I just go pick up a welder and learn how to do it myself. I didn't really record it because I didn't really trust the process, to be honest, but we did it. After only like 2 hours of welding, I kind of figured it out just a little bit. Still don't have a clear like grasp on how to do it really clean. My welder's still pretty poop. But honestly, I really hope this is like a little hobby that I could stick on for a little bit and maybe we can create some even cooler stuff for the WRX, guys. But so far, here we have it, the new front brace for the WRX that I did off camera. And here as well, we have the Basin R front lip and the CS style polyurethane. I also added a little bit of flavor to the front, something to make it just a little bit different. Probably does look a little bit tacky, but I honestly do enjoy how it makes the car look just a little bit different. I put a little bit of white pinstripe around there and on the side skirt too, just to give the car some flavor. What do you guys think? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the Extreme Online Store one, it is a little bit lower, and I do kind of like the front lip because of that. The Basin R, it only touches on the corner side, but when it gets to the center front, it's not really that low. It's not really as concaved as the EOS like we covered. Honestly, I saw it coming, but I kind of just wish that it sat a little bit closer to the floor, just like how the EOS one did. But yeah, there we have it with the spacers that we installed onto the WRX with a 35mm up front, with a 30mm adapter and a 5mm plate, and then 20mm in the rear. And now I'm not really content with the turnout for the rear, especially. We got something very, very sick, a specific suspension part coming for the rear sometime soon, hopefully next week or this week, that we're going to be installing. Something that we should have done because it's way overdue. And then the front, we grabbed another spacer size because I am just not content with having this kind of fitment with 0% of camber. I like it when there's just a little bit of poke, nothing obnoxious, but I don't know, guys, the flush look is probably, this is just not for me. It's like so bright outside, oh my gosh, because the floor is like so white. But let me know in the comment section down below, what kind of spacers do you guys use on your cars? Have you guys ever used like an eBay, Amazon special type of spacer for your cars, or do you guys go with the brand new ones such as PBM and such? Let me know in the comment section down below. The biggest spacer I've ever gone, again, was a 50mm. So if you guys have gone bigger than that, or if you guys double stacked a 50mm on a 50mm, let me know in the comment section down below. Hopefully we can like do some more projects for the WRX so that we can practice my welding skills just a little bit. My welding is terrible, like it's actual like popcorn welds. It's terrible, like bird poop actual welds. I have to start somewhere, so we are just starting a little bit here by doing little projects for the WRX, some things. I'm just trying to get creative with it, trying to get artistic with it. We already did the front brace, which is a 2-point contact. I wanted to do a 4-point contact front brace, but it kind of didn't fit because of my adjustable front plate that I have on the front bumper, so I'm gonna have to improvise something else for that. And here's a little update from what we did in the last video with the window tint that we did at home. It actually turned out really, really well. Honestly, I didn't trust the process. I thought that it was gonna be pretty bright quality, and it's Definitely not the best quality out there, but for some $10 tint, I've had this on my car for like how many weeks now? And it does the job right. It tints the car. If you guys haven't, go check out the video that I just posted last week. I'll put the link for that in the description down below as well, or you guys can go search my channel and search up all the other vids that I posted up in the past. I just want to thank you guys if you made it to the end of today's video. If there's any other content that you guys want to see on the channel, or if there's any other topic that you guys want me to cover, let me know in the comment section down below. Usually if I'm not posting on YouTube, I'm always posting on my Instagram at abg.taxi. So definitely don't want you guys to miss out on that. I'll also put my ad in the description down below just in case you guys don't catch it right now. And also don't forget to follow Ajisai Garage on Instagram. It's my page that I run. We're also a brand and we do a lot of video and picture content. We release a bunch of cool merchandise usually around like the spring and fall time, and so that time's almost coming up, so definitely don't want you guys to miss out on that. We do a bunch of giveaways as well, so free stuff is pretty cool, guys. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys if you made it to the end of today's video. Until the next one, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.